Hello everybody, how you doing? I just picked up recently the Counting Crows August and Everything After live vinyl up there, which is a great performance and sounds fantastic. So I thought, hey, this week I'll talk about my favorite album of all time probably, which is Counting Crows Recovering the Satellites. So when I was a kid, I remember I had a job at Kmart, and one day, I'd heard Counting Crows on the radio before. Of course, I heard August and Everything After, Mr. Jones. And honestly, I wasn't a very big fan of Mr. Jones. A lot of that had to do with the fact that I was listening to a lot of hard rock and metal at that time. Because when you're 13 or 14 years old, you listen to Megadeth and Pantera and Metallica, Dimebag Forever. There we go, Dimebag Forever. So I listened to a lot of metal stuff, and I really didn't listen to much folk or singer-songwriter stuff. I liked some of it, but I was mostly into hard rock and Aerosmith, all the great old classic rock as well. Remember that I was listening to the radio, and the song Angel of Silences came on from Counting Crows. And I listened to it, and I thought to myself, wow, that's a great song. It's well written, sounds like a folk song, but it rocks harder than most rock songs on radio right now. And I'm like, Mr. Jones was okay. So I went out and I bought Recovering the Satellites on cassette, put it in my cassette player, went to work. On the way to work, the first 4 songs listened to are Catapult, Angel of Silences, Daylight Fading, and then I'm Not Sleeping. Listen to the rest of I'm Not Sleeping while singing in the parking lot at Kmart. I thought to myself, there's no way this album could be this good the rest of the album. They packed the front half with just like the 4 best songs on the album. So I went to work. After work that day, I went home. I put on the next song after I'm Not Sleeping and just drove around until the album was done. I could have gone home 4 songs later, but so drove around, listened to the rest of the album. Then I think I listened to the album top to bottom again. Thought to myself, how can someone make such a great album top to bottom be perfect? I don't really like the song Children in Bloom, but beyond that, the album's perfect. And ever since then, it's probably been my favorite album of all time. If you ever have to rank your albums, which is a very hard thing to do, I usually rank Counting Crows, Recovering the Satellites 1. Then 2 is maybe Fiona Apple's Win the Pawn. I still love a lot of that metal stuff. I still like a lot of the hard rock stuff. But, at heart, I'm more of a singer-songwriter guy, folk singer. That's mostly what I follow. Stuff I write is mostly heavier, but stuff I follow is a lot of Americana stuff. If you've watched Just Handle It All, I'm a big Americana music fan. So, of course, after I fell in love with Recovering the Satellites, I then went out and bought August and Everything After, listened to that cassette until it died, bought it on CD. I also have the fancy deluxe CD with the Paris concert, which is great on it. Of course, I have it in vinyl. So after listening to pretty much nothing but Counting Crows for a year or two, their single for This Desert Life, which is Hanging Around, came out. I remember hearing Hanging Around on the radio. I thought, are they just going to make great albums forever? Of course, I got This Desert Life, which is a very good album. It's got All My Friends on it, which is one of my favorite songs of theirs. But, it's not the first 2 albums. Then they put out Hard Candy, which is another really good album. Not a great album. There's a couple songs in there I skip every time, but it's got a couple great songs, as Miami. Miami's a great song. Then after that, Saturday Nights and Sunday Mornings came out. There's a CD right there. It's an okay album. There's a couple songs I like a lot. There's a decent amount of songs I skip whenever I listen to it. Then after that, their next studio album of original songs, they put out Underwater Sunshine, which is a covers album. It's a really good covers album. But their next original album, which came out, 5 years ago now? Who knows? Was Somewhere Under Wonderland, which, to give you an idea of how much I like that album, I saw the vinyl somewhere one day for $10, and I didn't pick it up. There's maybe one song on there I kind of like. Of course, Am Duritz says that's his favorite album he's made. But I think as an artist, your last album probably should be your favorite album you've made. Or the next one. Even though Summer Under Wonderland doesn't hold a candle to the first 2 albums. Of course, Am Duritz also guest sang on the Wallflowers, Bring Down the Horse, which is another top 10 favorite album of all time. So, he's been involved in a lot of things I like. He's good friends with Ryan Adams. I know Ryan Adams is not a good guy, but he made some great records. All right, an actual album or making an album news. I have a new interface down here, my little Evo 8, which here, the box is over there. We got the new Evo 8. I'll put it up here somewhere. So far, it's worked great. Direct monitoring on it's great. I know if you don't make music, that means nothing to you. But basically what that means, when Rick sings, I can basically pump his voice right back into his head without any latency, without any delay. Also, I can set up his own mixes for him, so when Dick Darling comes back for another session, I just hit a button, he's ready to go. You just start singing. Right, lastly, it looks like Scott and I may actually be getting together soon to do a drum rehearsal for the album. So that's exciting. Hopefully get that under our belt. Got a couple mics coming for the drums. And then we'll be recording drums before too long. We'll actually start recording. It's going to be great. Very excited to actually start recording something and making this album. Instead of just sitting around talking about it. Let's start making it sometime soon. I'm going to play guitars for 2 months. It's going to be awesome. All right, see you next week. We'll do something. I'm thinking maybe I'll talk about my Telecaster. It's a fun little Telecaster. It's my Franken-Telly. Dick Darling used it for years for shows. So we'll go through, we'll take a look at it. It'll be fun. Play some Telly. Love to play some Telecaster. All right, bye. If I can make an album that sounds anything like Recovering the Satellites, that'd be amazing. And that's the hope. Hope is basically I make an album that sounds like, Born to Run, Recovering the Satellites, have a baby.